Hey guys, it's really weird kind of being here on a Saturday because normally I don't make um, videos on a Saturday, and I especially do not make um, serious videos on Saturdays because normally Saturday is, kind of like taking a break from the videos, try to enjoy the weekend, whatever type thing. And today I'm not doing that. Well, I plan on every intention on enjoying my weekend. But right now I wanted to take a few minutes and talk about something a little bit serious. And I know I've talked about this topic probably in the past, probably actually to a great lengthy degree, but I wanted to talk about it a little bit more. And basically, it's myths and facts about eating disorders and people that suffer from them. I'm drinking some morning coffee from Starbucks, so cheers to the weekend with my morning Starbucks. But so it bothers me, I guess, in a sense, because um, some people don't really realize the harm that eating disorders do. And I've been getting a lot of emails to ask me to touch on this topic. And that's fine. I don't mind, I would rather give research and give what I know and help those in need or that know someone that's in need of help. So, with that being said, good morning. Well, or it's good afternoon or good evening wherever you are. But my mission today is to notify you that our most precious natural resource is in danger. It is. And no, I'm not talking about water or oil or trees or coal or any of our other natural resources that get so much press and attention and concern in order to preserve. I am not talking about the resource that cannot be substituted by any other substance. Okay. Um, I'm talking about the resource that, if it is not saved, will result in a dim future for America. I'm talking about our best and brightest young girls and boys, women and men, in other words, the cream of the crop, who are vulnerable because of biological or psychological, um, cultural, and genetic influences to develop eating disorders. And, these vulnerable youth may experience emotional pain that is so severe that it seems impossible to face and express. Their eating disorder serves as a coping mechanism, and it distracts from the real problems they are experiencing. And however, it appears to be, at first, um, the avenue to a better self-esteem for these children. But eating disorders are cunning. They are seductive, and they will tear you apart. They are a total paradox, okay? Because just as that young person believes that this magic formula is the path to gaining control in their lives, to becoming more beautiful or handsome, to being better accepted by their peers and loved ones, and to actually feel better about themselves, they soon discover that the exact opposite prevails. Um, and they usually don't find out until they're too far in, as the behaviors progressed from, dieting to extreme restricting, or binging and purging and other daily obsessions, there seems to be no turning back. And the social acceptance becomes meaningless as they withdraw further and further from, you know, people. So they isolate and they self-hate themselves, and the loathing that they feel increases rather than decreases. The illness invades every hour, both day and night. Control is now in the hands of illness, and life is often perceived as not worth living. Um, I've been there. Um, you know that I've been there. I've been through hell, and I've been back again. And it saddens me because, like I said, it's just it's so upsetting because not only have I been there, okay, and not only have I lived it many times throughout my childhood and my teen years and my adulthood, but no matter what people think, eating disorders are not a fad. They're not a fad. They're not a passing fancy, dieting gone wild, or an illness someone will outgrow. Um, Nor are they really about food and body image. And that's hard for some people to believe. And actually, they are multiple um, potential life-threatening illnesses with biological and psychological, components. Most, but not all, begin with dieting. Okay, even though the person may not really need to lose weight, they still think that by dieting, it's going to help them. It always starts with dieting. You know, kind of like, oh, I'll restrict my food intake a little bit today, and then the next thing you know, this person is now anorexic. Um, it bothers me because the society doesn't understand. In anorexia, eating becomes more and more restrictive, and weight loss is 15% or more of normal body weight. Um, Even when emaciated, the person with anorexia may continue to see himself as overweight. When dieting and or restricting leads to feelings of extreme hunger and deprivation. Someone with bulimia may begin a cycle of secretive binging, followed by purging through self-induced vomiting, the use of laxatives, diuretics, diet pills, or excessive exercise. Um, the majority of people suffering with bulimia are not normal body size. And binge eating disorders is categorized by eating large quantities of food that may, um, you know, be interspread with periods of dieting, fasting and restricting eating. Like people with BED, like BED, um, binge eating disorder, are represented by all types of body sizes from normal to obese. And it is not terribly unusual for someone to move from one behavior to another in the progression of the illness. I hope you're following along with what I'm trying to say. Um, Treatment is long. I'm not going to lie. Treatment can be between 5 to 7 years, and the outcome depends on the quality and quantity of specialized treatments. And it also does kind of rely on whether or not the person wants to get better. The social support received and the sufferer's belief that they can recover. I mean, early and aggressive intervention um, provides the best diagnosis or I'm sorry, prognosis for recovery. Um, and I always say you have to get at it first because it could it's not a fad. It's not some. Anorexia nervosa has the highest death rate of any mental illness. Um, the true numbers may be elusive because of the secretiveness and shame of illness, and because death is often, you know, contributed to suicide, heart or kidney failure instead. Um, but really, the prosecutors of dehydration, electrolyte imbalances, gastrial disturbances, heart arrhythmias, abnormia, osteoporosis, just to mention a few, but there's so many more, may have gone completely undetected as the sufferer ignored or dissociated the symptoms, and depression, anxiety, and other emotional disturbances are, exacerbated by the behaviors of friends and family. May begin to view the sufferer as a stranger because they don't even really see. You know what I mean? Um, my family kind of didn't even really know anything about my eating disorder until, you know, kind of at the last minute when I was so and so pounds and almost like, how do I explain this without triggering? Almost in near death. It took death for my family to realize what was happening to me. And, it's a shame because the truth of the matter is that it should not take death, or it should not even take someone to be XX pounds to be like, hey, this person has an eating disorder and we need to help them. Somebody that has an eating disorder could weigh normal weights. Some people are even actually overweight. So that's why I kind of wanted to just throw out a couple of myths and facts, because it's good to educate yourself about some of the myths and facts related to eating disorders, because be an advocate for, those myths that people don't really get, these myths that people think are facts or whatever when they're not. So let me start off with one myth. Myth one. Since women college students are usually intelligent and well educated, they are a low risk for eating disorders. Actually, on the contrary, college women are a high risk, because they strive for perfection and to get good grades. So that's a fact. The thing that I read was a myth, but I'm telling you that it's wrong, and it's a fact that college women are, in fact, a higher risk for eating disorders. Um, Myth two: only females have eating disorders. The fact is, among any population, um, research research has shown that 7% of male suffer from eating disorders among the general population. Um, but what I'm trying to say is 7% of male students suffer from eating disorders. So it's not only females that do suffer. Females do obviously suffer more from eating disorders, but men do as well. Um, Myth 3. Repeated weight loss dieting ensures permanent weight control. The fact is, repeated weight loss dieting leads to higher and higher weight gains. Here are 3 reasons why. When the body is faced with constant deprivation, it automatically tries to conserve energy by slowing down the metabolism instead of continuing to burn body fat. Okay, the longer people stay on low-calorie diets, the longer it takes for their metabolism to return to normal. Thus dieting people to rapid weight gains immediately following the loosening of food restriction. Does it make any sense? When weight is lost, the fat cells shrink, but when weight is regained, fat cells multiply. These fattening effects, if you will, of weight loss are referred as overcompensation. That may mean the intention and effort to lose weight becoming a never-win distress. That was actually based on a book called Peace with Food in 1989. Um, myth myth 4. With a sensible diet and a strong commitment, everyone can become and remain thin. Well, the fact is that fatness, most effect is due to heredity and metabolism, and not everyone can be as thin as they want to be, no matter how strong their commitment is. It's just, it doesn't work like that. It has to do with genetics and everything. Not everybody can be as thin and remain thin. Next myth, eating disorders cannot be fatal. False. That is a huge, huge, huge one that I'm so against, because many of you have heard about people such as the singer Karen Carpenter, right, who have died of anorexia nervosa and eating disorders characterized by self-starvation and weakened immune system and heart function due to undernourish. And based on the information provided by the American Anorexia Bulimia Association, an estimated 1% of U.S. teenagers suffer from anorexia, and up to 10% of these will die. So, fatal dangers for both anorexic and bulimics include gastric ruptures, cardiac arrhythmias, and heart failure, okay, and kidney failure. So, many other medical complications are not necessarily fatal, but can lead to permanent physical and neurological damages. For example, in an effort to reduce weight and maintain energy without eating, many individuals with eating disorders turn to laxative and dieting pills. And side effects of inappropriate use of laxatives are dry skin due to dehydration, abdominal cramping, muscle cramps, and electrolyte imbalances, which affects neurological functioning. Daily use of diet pills may lead to rebound fatigue, insomnia, mood changes, irritability, and when in extremely large doses, psychosis. It's dangerous, and laxatives can kill you. Next myth. Only those who are apparently underweight or overweight may have or will have eating disorders. False. I cannot even explain to you how false that is. Among women who have bulimia, about 70% of them are normal weight. 15% are underweight, and that's just a small percentage. I mean, and this is to say it is often inaccurate to judge if someone is not, simply by their appearance and weight. Like, what is important to remember is that eating disorders are often characterized by a set of psychological symptoms: distorted body image, obsession with losing weight, distress over body size and shape, perfectionism, emotional difficulties. These are psychological symptoms, are usually not reflected by weight status. A next myth that I find to be extremely false is only the mentally ill will develop eating disorders. And the cause of eating disorders is believed to be a combination of biological, physiological you know, um, genetic factors. To date, we know women are much more likely to have eating disorders than men. Okay. Women of color may be as vulnerable as Caucasian women to developing eating disorders. Adolescents and young adults are at high risk, especially if they are a high achiever, like oriented. They try like sports or, other athletic activities, such as wrestling, gymnastics, ballet, um, ballet, dancing, skating. They strive for perfection, and that requires careful maintenance of body weight that often make people prone to eating disorders. Generally speaking, eating disorders can develop in any ordinary person. The good news is that eating disorders can be prevented and successfully treated. I mean, I developed an eating disorder and I was not even close to being a perfectionist. And the only sport I came close to doing was soccer. And it wasn't even about that. It wasn't even about perfection. Um, so that's definitely a myth. Um, do you also know that 90% of women in America are unhappy with their bodies and they think that they need to lose weight? And 75% of American males are unhappy with their body size or shape and feel they need to trim fat and increase muscle. I'll give you one more myth and then I'm going to go and upload this video. Because people with eating disorders tend to remain secretive about their eating disorders or eating behaviors, it is extremely difficult to detect and help this population. The fact is, it is not uncommon for people to engage in binging and or purging behaviors for years before their family or friends notice a problem. Take that from me. My family learned that. Learning about eating disorders may help you, the person that's helping the person, to detect early warning signs, including, frequent use of bathrooms right after meals, various exercises, preoccupation with body weights, counting calories, um, just knowledge about medical complications such as hair loss, complaints of sore throat and bloating stomach, fatigue and muscle weakness, tooth decay, can help to identify, some of the disorders. Because so much shame and guilt is involved, acknowledging the problem can be very, very terrifying. Detect and support communications as well as, consultation and help with professionals such as like a physician or psychiatrist or counselor or nutritionist often lead to the successful initiative of the treatment and recovery process. So there you have it. Those are some of my myths and facts about eating disorders. And I know I probably made a video like this in the past, but it needed to be said that eating disorders are dangerous. And take it from me, I've been there and I'm still fighting the fight. I mean, would I consider myself more in recovery now? Yes. But this is a wishbone, if you were wondering. I don't know if you could really see it that well. And it's cracked because that's how it's supposed to be. That's how I wanted it. So hopefully my wish will come true. Here's to hoping, right? Anyway, I hope you guys have a fabulous, fabulous weekend, rest of the weekend. Have a good Sunday for tomorrow. I won't talk to you till Monday. So, have a good weekend. Back there, Maryland. Right there. Ooh, that's my favorite Maryland quote right there. You can't see the quote, but that's a picture of Marilyn right there. Woo! Okay. Um, have a good weekend, and remember some of these facts and myths and facts about eating disorders, and to get help as soon as possible. Detection and treatment is crucial. It really is crucial, just as much as any other disorder or illness in the world, because yeah, it's the truth. So I love you guys. Peace and love, and until next time, be kind to one another, and I'll talk to you soon. All right, bye.